Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ifoma. So in today's tutorial we're going to be making this beautiful shift dress with this stylish built up neck and center. Okay, so if this is what you're interested in, keep watching. So to begin, here we have our fabric unfold. All right, so the first part we're going to be cutting is the back part. So we are going to be using the back part to cut the front part. Okay, so the measurement to be using are just the gown length, your bust measurement. You're going to add allowance. You're going to make it big. Maybe your bust measurement is 38, you add 2 or 3 inches allowance, so it's free. And then your hip measurement and your sleeve. Okay, so first of all we are going to get our fold, and to get our fold we are going to divide our together shoulder measurement by 2. Okay, so this is your shoulder measurement plus your sleeve measurement together. That is what gives you your together shoulder measurement. Okay, we're going to divide it by 2, and whatever you have is what you are going to use to get our fold. Okay, so this is our fold, and the first thing we are going to do is to take our neck measurement. Okay, so here we are trying to take our sleeve measurement first. Okay, you're trying to take our sleeve measurement, and to get your sleeve measurement you're going to divide your round sleeve by 2, then you come down by 1 inch on the shoulder. All right, so when you've gotten that, you're going to put your 1 inch sewing allowance to the sleeve. Then on the bust line, what we're going to do is we are going to take our bust measurement, divide it by 4, then we add 1 inch allowance to it. All right, when we've gotten that, we are going to connect it in form of an angle to the sleeve line. Then after that, the next measurement we're taking is our hip measurement. Also, we are going to divide our hip measurement by 4, and we are going to add 1 inch for the stitching allowance. Okay, so now this is an A-line cloth, so just from there, from the hip measurement, just take your measurement down to the hem. Okay, so here we are trying to take our length. Okay, so the length of the measurement is, the length of the dress is 36 inches. We are going to start from the shoulder and take the length of the dress down to the hem, and then when we get to the hem, we are going to add 2 inches folding allowance to the hem of this dress. Okay, so here we are just marking our length with added 2 inches folding allowance. So we're just going to connect all these measurements to the sleeve. Okay, remember it's a together shoulder, it's not going to have an armhole measurement. So the next measurement we're going to take is the neck. Okay, remember we are cutting the back part of this dress, so for the neck we are going to take our neck measurements to 1.5 inches for the depth of the back neck. You can use 1 inch, you can use 1.2, so depending on what works for you, but just know that it's not supposed to be a deep neck because the neck is a high one. Okay, so we are taking 1 inch, 1.5 inch by 2.5 or by 3, depending on how big the person you are making the dress is. So having done that, we're going to connect the 1 inch we went down on the shoulder by to the neckline, and then we'll just cut out. While we are cutting out, please hit the subscribe button and like this video. Also share so this video gets to anybody that needs it. Thank you for always supporting. Alright, so to cut the front of this dress, we're just going to place the back on a folded fabric. We're just going to place the back like this, and we're just going to trace out this back we already cut. Okay, there's nothing much in this front, just place your back on top of the front, the folded fabric, and just trace it out. So having done that, we are going to set the back aside and we're going to start working on the front. All right, so for the front, because we have another fabric in the center, that is the style, because you have something like a kimono style on the front, it's something like a kimono cover. We all know the kimono jacket. So this is just something like that kimono jacket that is covered at the front. So we are going to go in from the center of the front by 1.5 inches. Okay, this is where we are going to cut out and put that kimono. All right, that is where we are going to cut this 1.5 out, and then we put that star that is at the center. So we are going to connect it from the hem back to the neck, and on the neck we are going to connect from where our neck, the back neck stops, so that when we are sewing it, the back and the front shoulder is going to be equal. Okay, so just watch what I'm doing. It's not hard. Just connect that 1.5 inches down to the shoulder of the back. All right, because remember we trace the back, we use the back to trace out this front. So just connect it and make sure that the shoulder is going to be equal when you are sewing it. So after that, we are just going to set the front and the back aside, and we're going to cut out the star at the center. All right, so to do that, we are going to measure, we are going to bring in the fabric we are using, and we're going to measure 5 inches. All right, this is a straight fabric. I'm just going to cut out 5 inches of a straight fabric. Okay, so because this fabric is 45 inches, and it's not going to be enough to go round from the hem of the front to the other part of the front, we are going to cut 2 of these 5 inches fabric. We're going to cut 2, and then we're going to cut another one because we also have this fabric on the sleeve. Okay, the same 5 inches, we're going to cut it out, and then for the 2 we cut out before, we are going to join them together to give us one long fabric. Okay, so when we have done that, we are just going to go over to our sewing machine and join the 2 together. Okay, so this is it. After joining it together, the next thing we are going to do is, this part is absolutely optional. You might want to leave your fabric like that, you might want to make it a little bit thicker. Okay, so I just added an interface to my fabric. This is where I'm trying to, what I'm holding now is an A stay. I'm going to iron it, I'm going to press it on this band. Okay, so that it's going to be thicker for that center when we join it to the center front. Good. So this part is optional. Even if you want to do it, you might want to do it with a gum stay, or want to do it with a stay, anyone you want. So just know that, and you can still sew it without doing anything to it. Okay, so this is absolutely optional. I'm going to do this, and I'm also going to do it to the part of the band going for the hand. Okay, so I'm done interface, putting the interface, and the next thing I'm going to do is to fold it into 2 equal parts and press it down with my iron. Okay, so this is it. I'm just pressing it down with my iron. I'm going to do the same thing for the part going for the sleeve. When I was done doing that, this is what it looks like. All right, so we're just going to go over to our sewing machine and we start working on this project. So the first thing we're going to do is to get the band, the longer one, that one we join 2 pieces of fabric together. We are going to get it, we're going to open it up. Remember, we pressed it, we covered it together. We are going to open it up, fold it from the joining. That joining is the center of these 2 fabric, right? So from that joining, we're just going to fold it into 2 like this, like you see me doing, and we're now going to take measurement from the upper part till wherever you desire. Okay, so from the upper part, that part is going to be your neck. So if you want it to be showing your bust, if you want it to be very deep, you can go all the way to 15 inches. If you don't want it to be so deep, you can go for 14 or 13, depending on the height of the client. So mine, I love using 12. It's not too deep, it's not too close up, it's just normal. So I'm using 14, and from that 14 inches I just marked, I'm going to stitch the 2 sides together. Okay, open it up at the center, place the 2 sides when folded together, place it together, and make sure that the middle is aligning, that the middle is at the same place. Okay, so make sure that they are equal, and then you're going to stitch a straight line from that 14 inches down to the hem. Okay, so while sewing it, make sure that they are equal. Okay, so we're just going to stitch this down to the hem of this band. So this is it. When we are done doing this, this is what it looks like. Okay, if you open it up and fold it back the way it was when you folded it with the iron, this is what it's going to look like. As you can see, this is already coming together. Okay, so this is what it look like. We are going to set this aside and we are going to come to the actual fabric. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do on this actual fabric is to join the shoulders. Okay, this is what you see me doing. I'm trying to join the shoulder. Trying to join the front and the back piece at the shoulder. I'm trying to join them together on the shoulder. So this is the back piece. Remember, the back piece is the piece that is whole, all right, and the front piece is the piece that we divided into two. Okay, so this is me trying to join the front piece to the back piece on the shoulder. So when you are joining this, you're going to use 0.5 inches as a stitching allowance. So I'm just going to join the two shoulders together. After joining this one, I'm going to join the other part. So we have like one full dress, front and the back, okay, with the opening at the center. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is to mark the midpoint for the back neck. Okay, to mark it, you're just going to make sure that the two shoulders are aligning and then you notch at the center. Okay, so after doing that, you're just going to open it up, set that notch at the needle, set that notch at the center of your sewing machine, and then you get the band you just finished working on a while ago. Set the center, make sure that the center of that band is aligning with the center of your dress. Okay, like you see me doing like this. That center of the band is one going to be the opening for the neck. Okay, so make sure that it's aligning with the center of the back neck you just notched. So when you are sure they are aligning, now you can start sewing using 0.5 inches. Okay, you're going to attach this band from the center back neck to the down to the hem of the front. Remember that you have joined it on the shoulder, so it's just going to seem like one fabric. Okay, so I'm just going to join from that neck down to the hem using 0.5 inches. So when we have gotten to the hem, we're just going to trim, then go all the way back and join from the other neck, or you can start joining from the hem of the other part. Just make sure that whenever you're sewing something like this and you have a thicker and a weaker fabric, make sure that the thicker one is always at the top, because if you're using the weaker one at the top, it's going to make the weaker one stretch, and then that is going to be giving it an awkward look when you are done. Okay, so whenever you're working with a thicker and a weaker fabric, make sure that the thicker one is always at the top. Okay, this is a sewing trick and tip. All right, so after doing that, this is what it should look like. All right, this is it. This is what it should look like. Now the dress is almost ready. The next thing we are going to do is to attach the other one, the other band. Okay, this one right here, we're going to attach it to the sleeve. All right, so we're going to attach it to the sleeve using 0.5 inches as well. So when we're done with this particular one, we're going to go over to the other sleeve, and we're going to also do the same thing for the other sleeve. So at this point, thank you very much. If you are still watching, please hit the subscribe button if you have not done so, and God bless you as you do so. So after doing that, this is what it should look like. Now you might want to go ahead and start shaping your dress. Okay, you start shaping your dress using that 1 inch we added as a sewing allowance. Okay, so remember, this is a shift dress. After shaping it, you put your pocket, unless you don't want it to have a pocket. So here I'm just trying to shape this fabric and to also put the pocket of the fabric. So when I was done shaping it, the next thing I did was to fold the hem. Okay, using that 2 inches we added for the hem folding when we are cutting it. So when we're done folding the hem, the next thing we do is just to give this fabric a nice press, and then this dress is ready. So guys, thank you very